An elite squad of nano-enhanced soldiers join forces with the faction to put an end to 15 years of unnecessary bloodshed under the brutal dictator Sopot. Red Faction 2.
Hello there, this is SteelSnake72 with my Red Faction 2 medium difficulty playthrough. Red Faction 2 being a game that was released in 2002 for the PlayStation 2. Here I am playing it on the PS4 as it was just released as one of the PS2 on PS4 classics. Which is typical me. While most people will be preparing for games like Call of Duty World War II and Star Wars Battlefront 2, here I am playing this old classic. Although it's not as much of a classic as I think it would be, because a few videos online show that this is a game that people don't generally like in the series, but for me personally, I absolutely love this game, and it might have a lot to do with this probably being the first ever game I ever played. I mean, I can't really talk about how accurate that is, but it's a game that I remember very early on playing when I was very young. I remember I had a demo for it which featured the second level, or at least part of it, and I remember buying, having the game brought to me, the full game, and absolutely loving it and adoring it, and playing it again on PS4, even at its ridiculous price of, I think, which was £12, which is in UK money, which is ridiculous, and I hate myself for paying that, but it's just a game I could not buy, really. Because I love this game and the first one I absolutely loved. I mean, I much prefer this game to the first one, which is such a controversial thing to say, because I know the first one is a game that's revered as quite a classic. The second one, this one, not so much, but man, I absolutely love this game, and I'm going to be gushing all over this playthrough. And this is just a normal playthrough. Cutscenes are going to be included in everything, and it's just no deaths or anything, it's just the times when it all worked. And you can see this game in all its glory, and hey, if you wanted a classic game to play, you're not really into the modern FPSs that are being released these days, this is a damn fine game in my opinion, like, from the time. None of the stuff like more, 2-gun limits, you can carry every single gun by the end of the game, and you will need them, because, funnily enough, this is one of those games which starts off really easy. Enemies go down in, very few bullets, but by the end of it, you're really struggling, and thankfully I managed to keep the game on medium, but there were times where I contemplated bringing it down to easy, which gives the impression of me as not someone who's very good at games. But this is from a time, remember, when games were so much harder, and they weren't made for everybody to play. These were made for people that liked games, not everyone under the sun, trying to market it to as many people as possible. And you can basically, in an era where games play themselves. But that was certainly not the case in 2002. And this game has lots of really funny, quirky stuff from the time. One of them is funny enemy dialogue, and you'll hear it. Like, so when I start laughing randomly, it's because the guards say something quite funny. And I don't know why I say guards, because not exactly a stealth mission here, is it? And you don't really get games like this anymore. At least I feel like you could have said that before, a few years ago, really be applicable, but if you're looking for games that are similar to this, I suppose Wolfenstein's the closest thing you're going to get in terms of really quirky, out-there shooters that aren't like every other shooter past 2007, when Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare really changed FPSs entirely. And that was great, at the time. We all loved COD 4, and there's no denying that is a fantastic game, one of my favourites. But 10 years on, and really the evolution since then has been so poor that we're going back to games like Wolfenstein, which was such a popular game among people, and of course we're getting the sequel very shortly, which I'm very excited for. And even a game like Doom, which I didn't actually really like Doom 2016, but I'm very much in the minority there. People are loving old school shooters again, and so playing something like this isn't that out there, because this game's quite similar to that. It does its own thing, and it even did its own thing back then. I mean, World War II was beginning to become the thing in 2002. We'd had Medal of Honor, have a few games. I think you'd had Medal of Honor Allied Assault by this point, which is the best World War II shooter of all time, in my opinion, which was only on the PC. And you had Medal of Honor Frontline, which is another one of my favourites. This and Medal of Honor, Frontliner, probably the first like games I ever played, so that's where my love of FPS games come from. And they're the kind of FPS games that I like mainly, and yeah, FPS is a genre that's gone downhill in my opinion in recent years, but it's looking up again with titles like Wolfenstein. I suppose BioShock's also quite similar to, you know, out there shooters, but part of my shame is I've never played a BioShock game, which I should probably get on and change that. There's no excuse now because they released that BioShock collection, didn't they, which is 1, 2 and Infinite, I believe, which I should probably look into getting at some point. That could be a something, who knows, maybe put that on the channel at some point, but we're in the silly season. It's September right now, at least when I'm recording this. Hopefully it's released in September, I'd expect so, but a lot of games coming out, so, but that's the kind of things that, you know, I can look to in the, you know, coming months next year, when, because it's really odd how games are released. Like, we get a really quiet summer and then absolute rush come winter time, in time for the holidays, as they say. But yeah, this is the general kind of Red Faction 2 gameplay, and what I love is an incredible arsenal of weapons, like with all secondary fires. I mean, Resistance, you know, another trilogy I absolutely adored. Very similar in probably doesn't hit the heights of Resistance, because the weapons in Resistance were some of the best weapons I've played with in FPS games, so varied. And of course, being able to carry all of them, or at least in 1 and 3, was such a great thing. And there you can read the convoluted controls, which is yeah, press R2 to climb up a ladder. Can't imagine that flying in this day and age of gaming, but and I was thinking, because actually you don't have to use those controls. This was in a time where you could literally map the control scheme to anything you want, so if you're having difficulty with the controls and you've picked this up, I highly recommend just change them to a Call of Duty scheme if that's what you're used to, or Battlefield or whatever, because you can do that and it works fine. Like for Red Faction 1, I changed the control scheme so R2 was the shoot. I didn't do it for this game, oddly enough, though, but it's such an easy thing to do, and so don't let bad controls stop you, because this was at a time when controls were really shitty, and to, you know, aim and shoot your gun in Metal Gear Solid 2, you had to hold about 2 buttons and then let go of the square button to shoot your tranquilizer gun. It wasn't just L2 R2 like nowadays. Yeah, it was a lot more complex. And I was thinking, would we like that nowadays? But to be fair, these days all control schemes are the same, and that's for a reason. They work, they're functional, aren't they? Which, it's one of those things of gaming that we're glad we've moved on from. And we're actually coming up to the end of this video, guys, and yeah, this is a very simple first level, and I just wanted to talk about Red Faction 2, I guess, and the channel itself, which I've not actually talked about, which I probably should have done in this video, but the second level's a lot longer. We'll be able to talk a lot more shop there. So, thank you very much for watching this video, guys. Hope you're going to enjoy this series. I certainly enjoyed playing Red Faction 2, and I'll see you guys in the next level.